doubt we deserved to win the game. I thought our performance level was outstanding. We had total domination near enough of the first half.
It was a very intense game. We played a little bit with a handbrake in the first half. In the second half it was much better, but overall we should have won this game in the end, but Liverpool played well.
Our ability is both in defence and in attack. Attack today was very good. In the main, our defending was good. You know, we stopped the transition moments whenever we lost the ball in the main, but there's certainly areas that we need to improve on.
It's really disappointing for us. I don't think we played that good today, but sometimes you need to win those games when you don't play well, especially away from home and at a hard place like Anfield. 2-1 up so late on, you know, we're really disappointed we weren't able to see it out.
How are you feeling? Because you got that massive blow to the head.
It was, you know, it was quite so after that accident, but that injury, that's part of the football, and I'm glad I could carry on and could score that goal in the end.
So Brendan Rodgers delighted with the performance. The least amount of possession Arsenal have had in a game since Opta began their stats, and the most shots they've conceded since Opta began their stats as well. So why were Liverpool so dominant?
Well, it was the best I've seen them play all season, and they controlled the whole game. And it was in that midfield area where I think they totally dominated. And, you know, they totally dominated because they outnumbered Arsenal in there. If you look at the picture, you've got 4 Liverpool players in there. Lucas and Gerrard, Lallana and Coutinho, who came into little pockets against the 3 of Chamberlain, Flamini and Cazorla. And it was like this the whole game. Chamberlain was looking to get up to Gerrard. Cazorla, his job was to get up to Lucas, which created the space in behind for Lallana and Coutinho, which made the job of Flamini impossible to do. As the ball goes in to Coutinho now, Coutinho can turn at any time because he's got time on the ball. As he turned, Sanchez gets back really well, and now he's got 2 options. He's got Lallana again in the hole. Gibbs, he can't go to him because he's got Henderson outside him going down the wing. He's also got the option of playing Raheem Sterling forward, so he's taking Debuchy and Mertesacker deeper, and Flamini found himself in this position throughout the whole game where he just couldn't get to either Lallana or Coutinho, and that's why Liverpool dominated the game.
So what you're saying is if you put that pitch into different boxes, but particularly the box in the middle, they always had an extra man somehow.
They had an extra. In football, you've got to create these little boxes and try and outnumber them, but particularly in the middle of the field. And today, I thought the tactical awareness of Brendan Rodgers really helped Liverpool.
And Arsene Wenger didn't match that then?
The problem for Arsenal was really where they were being outnumbered. And Brendan Rodgers, what he's done is, you think last year Gerrard was playing that deep line role on his own. Now he's put Lucas alongside him. And with Coutinho and Lallana playing just in front, it makes it very difficult for Arsenal. Without anybody actually in the middle of that midfield, with Liverpool got 4 on the outside, Arsenal couldn't cope. We have a look at the picture here, and I mean, this is, if you look at this now, you think that to all intents and purposes, there's no big problem. This is with the goalkeeper, so you're thinking, how are they going to go through the compartments of Arsenal team? And they do with 3 passes. Lucas here, Cazorla should come out and press. You can't give top players this sort of time and freedom. This is the Arsenal 3. This was the problem. They had this little... Flamini was sitting deep with the 2 either side of him. Now, Oxlade-Chamberlain here, for me, he's too far away. This is just creating the 4
So you've got it again there, the 4v3.
This is the 4, and we've got that 3. Now, look at the gap between those 2. Now, Lucas, all he's going to try to do is play the ball through there. So what you do is you just stay compact. Stay compact and let it go to Gerrard. But he doesn't. He adopts that position. It goes right through. Coutinho now is running at the Arsenal defence. A better ball, and they're through on goal. That is so simple. And Arsenal really were being picked off for fun in that midfield.
You two spotted it after about 5 or 6 minutes, and then spent a lot of that first half shouting about it. So it could have been changed, but earlier, couldn't it?
Well, I mean, I've played in that position where Flamini was, where you've got players either side of you, and he's in there to make tackles, and he couldn't get to either. And it was a small tweak. Just pull Oxlade-Chamberlain back and go man for man in there, and that would have caused or solved a lot of the problems.
Would you have taken responsibility for that in that Flamini role, or does your manager need to do it?
Well, you looked at Flamini during the game. He was having to go at his back 4 because they were dropping deep. He was having to go at Chamberlain and Cazorla. He actually did not know what to do.
It was almost impossible for Flamini in that position. But I think also, if you'd have put Welbeck in and and Sanchez, then they can't play straight passes through that little gap, those pockets for Coutinho and Lallana.
OK, for all the fascinating midfield tactics, it still boiled down to some rank bad defending for both sides' second goals.
It was a real poor goal to concede. I think this is the problem when you play with a back three. Sometimes when balls come into the box, you expect somebody else to be picking up. You see the three there, and you've got Steven Gerrard going back. They're all facing their own goal. They're not aware of Giroud there in behind them, and nobody's picking up Giroud in the box there.
Skirtle there, for me, is guilty. Because if you're the second centre half, as Sacco is, he's looking for the first one to pick up, and he doesn't.
So is that bad body position for them all, or is that ball watching?
It's the downside of playing with three. You get pulled around. Sometimes people don't take responsibility. Whose man is it? You think there's three of you there, and no one goes and deals with it. But he did, in fairness, Skirtle, he rescues his team in the end. I couldn't believe the freedom he had when we're watching that set piece coming in. And I was screaming at the TV. I'll say that today.
Yeah.
I was an Arsenal fan watching that.
No, we know.
I couldn't believe the space that Skirtle was allowed. And he punishes Arsenal. And if you look, I mean, there's Chambers who's picking him up. I wouldn't have had Chambers doing that. I've had Mertesacker doing that. 8 yards. I'm worried about that distance. Already he looks favourite before it comes in.
Because he can get a run on
maybe
things.
Monreal could have actually stepped across his path, make it more difficult. But it's too big a gap. And look, there's only one winner. And what I'm worried about most of all is Mertesacker there, because he's just sort of carrying away from the ball. He's a big man. He's got to get his body in the way of that and make it...
Martin, this is a common occurrence now. 2 weeks ago at Stoke, again, Mertesacker, he's almost ducking out the way. He's not prepared to put his head in there and stop a goal for Arsenal. And this is something that I think will worry Arsene Wenger, because they keep conceding goals from set pieces.
He's too happy to get out of the way of that. I'd be a lot happier if he puts his body on the line there.
At the risk of asking a particularly stupid question, which, you know, is not unknown on this show, is he too big to jump?
No, listen, he's so enormous. He's, what is he, 6'6", 6'7"? If he's just in the right place, just the physical size of him is going to cause a problem. But if he could jump as well, it's about making the best use of him. He should be matched up with the best header of the opposition.
He's in the middle of the goal for one purpose and one purpose only, to go and attack that ball and head it clear, and you don't cower out the way.
All right. 3 minutes criticising defending. It's like the ghost of Christmas past.